The jungle moon of 4 was hot and wet. Steam rose from the ground like breath from a sleeping giant. The trees grew so tall that their tops disappeared into the orange clouds above. Everything here wanted to kill humans. The plants had poison. The insects carried disease. The water burned skin. But the 5 soldiers walking through the mud had bigger problems than nature. Sergeant Park wiped sweat from her forehead and checked her medical pack for the 10th time. She was 32 years old, with short black hair and tired eyes that had seen too much death. Before the war, she had been a veterinarian in Seoul. She had treated dogs, cats, horses, and once a very angry tiger at the city zoo. Now she treated soldiers. The job was not so different. Both animals and soldiers screamed when they were hurt. Both bit when they were scared. Commander walked at the front of the group. He was a serious man who never smiled. His face was like stone, hard and cold. He had lost his brother in the war against the Empire. He had lost his best friend. He had lost so many people that he stopped counting. Every he killed was revenge. Every mission was personal. Behind walked Specialist Minyu. He was young, only 23, and he still had fear in his eyes. This was his first real mission outside the safe zones. His hands shook slightly as he held his rifle. He tried to hide it but noticed. She always noticed. The other 2 soldiers were quiet men named, and they had been fighting for years. They did not talk much anymore. They just followed orders and tried to stay alive. "Smoke ahead," said, raising his fist. Everyone stopped. Through the thick trees they could see black smoke rising into the sky. It twisted and curled like a dying snake. The smell reached them next. Burning metal, burning flesh. Something else too, something strange and alien that made Snow's hurt. "Ship," said quietly, "crashed." Nodded slowly. "We go careful, could be survivors, could be a trap." They moved forward like ghosts, making no sound. The jungle around them was silent too. Even the insects had stopped their endless noise. That was a bad sign. When nature went quiet, death was near. The crash site was worse than expected. The ship had hit the ground hard and broken into pieces. Metal and fire were everywhere. But that was not the strange part. The strange part was the bodies. Soldiers lay scattered across the ground. They were tall creatures with gray skin and 4 arms. Their faces had no noses, just 2 small holes above their wide mouths. Usually they were dangerous enemies. Their technology was better than human technology. Their weapons were stronger. Their ships were faster. But these were dead, and they had not died from the crash. "What did this?" Minyu whispered. His voice was shaking. Knelt beside one of the bodies. The soldier had been torn apart. Deep claw marks crossed his chest. His armor, which was supposed to stop bullets, had been ripped like paper. "Something with claws," she said. "Something big." "War beast," said the words like a curse. Everyone went still. War beasts were the most terrible weapon. They were massive creatures, 8 feet tall, with the body of a cat and the skin of a reptile. Their scales were like armor. Their teeth could bite through steel. Their claws could cut a human in half with one swing. Every soldier had heard stories about war beasts. Most soldiers who met one did not live to tell their own stories. "But war beasts fight for the," Minyu said, confused. "Why would it kill its own masters?" Nobody had an answer. They searched the crash site carefully. More bodies, more blood. The war beast had killed everyone, but where was it now? "Found it first," he shouted from the other side of the broken ship. Everyone ran to him, weapons ready. The war beast lay under a large piece of metal from the ship. It was even bigger than the stories said. Its body was covered with dark green scales that looked like they belonged on a dragon. Its face was like a tiger, but wrong somehow, too long and too sharp. 4 yellow eyes stared up at them, and those eyes were filled with pain. The creature was dying. Could see the injuries even from a distance. Shrapnel from the crash was buried deep in its side. One of its legs was bent at a wrong angle. Blood, dark purple and thick, pooled beneath its body. Every breath it took sounded wet and broken. A collapsed lung, she thought. Internal bleeding. massive trauma. Minyu raised his rifle. I'll end it. Wait said. Wait turned to her, his stone face showing surprise for the first time. Sergeant, that thing has killed more humans than any weapon they have. It killed its own handlers. We should put it down before it heals. It won't heal, said. She stepped forward, ignoring the warnings from her squad. Look at those injuries. Without surgery, it dies in the next hour, maybe less. The war beast growled at her. It tried to move to attack, but its body would not obey. It was too weak, too broken. It could only watch as the small human woman walked closer. Sergeant, get back, ordered. Did not listen. She stopped 3 feet from the creature's massive head. Those 4 yellow eyes locked onto her. She saw intelligence in them, understanding, fear. You know you're dying, she said softly, don't you? The war beast made a sound. It was not a growl this time. It was something sadder, something like a cry. Turned to look at her squad. I can save it. Silence, then laughed, but there was no humor in the sound. You're joking. I'm not. It's an enemy weapon, said. It exists to kill us. Right now it's a dying animal. His voice was calm but firm. And I'm a doctor. I don't let things die if I can help it. Stepped forward. His hand was on his pistol. We're at war, Sergeant. This creature is not a stray cat. It's a monster. Our orders are clear. We destroy enemy assets. Since when is mercy against orders? The question hung in the air. The war beast watched them argue. It seemed to understand that its life was being decided by these strange, small creatures. Minyu spoke quietly. Commander, if she can save it, maybe we can learn something about biology, about their bonding process with these things. It could help the war effort. Looked at the young soldier with cold eyes, but he was thinking. Could see the battle inside him, hatred versus logic, revenge versus reason. Finally, he stepped back. You have until dawn, he said to. If it attacks anyone, I kill it. If it slows us down, I kill it. If I even think it's a threat, I kill it. Understood. Was already opening her medical pack. She looked at the war beast, at the mountain of muscle and scale and teeth that had killed so many of her kind. She smiled. Relax, big guy, she said. I've fixed bigger cats. The war beast stared at her. It did not understand the words, but something in her voice, something in her smell, told it that this human was different. This human was not afraid. This human was trying to help. As began to work, the creature let out a long, slow breath. Its yellow eyes stayed open, watching every move she made. It was the beginning of something neither species expected, something that would change the war forever. But first, had to keep it alive through the night. The first problem was the shrapnel. 12 pieces of twisted metal were buried inside the war beast's body. Some were small, no bigger than coins. Others were large enough to see from outside, pushing against the creature's scaled skin like lumps under a blanket. Worked by the light of emergency lamps that Minyu had set up around her. The rest of the squad formed a circle around the crash site, watching the dark jungle for enemies. Nobody slept. Nobody talked. The only sounds were quiet instructions and the wet, painful breathing of the creature called. She had not known its name at first, but when she started cutting into its flesh, when the pain made it roar, a voice came from its throat. Not a roar, a word. It had frozen, her knife halfway into an incision. What? The creature had looked at her with its 4 yellow eyes. It said again. Its voice was deep and rough like rocks grinding together. Name. You can speak. A long pause, then slowly some words hard. Nodded, she went back to work. Okay, my name is I'm going to help you, but this is going to hurt. A lot. Do you understand? Made a sound that might have been agreement. Then he closed his eyes and waited for the pain. That was 2 hours ago. Now was covered in purple blood up to her elbows. She had removed 8 pieces of shrapnel. 4 more remained, but they were deep, too deep to reach without proper hospital equipment. I need something to drain the fluid from his chest, she said. The lung is collapsed. If I don't relieve the pressure, he'll drown in his own blood. Minyu was beside her, holding tools, following orders. His fear had transformed into focus. He had never seen anything like this. Worked like a machine, fast and precise, never stopping even when screamed. "What do you need?" he asked. A tube, flexible, about this thick. She held her fingers in a circle, and something sharp enough to puncture this scale armor. Minyu searched through the crashed ship's wreckage. He found a piece of tubing from some alien machine. It was the right size. For the puncture tool, he took apart his own rifle's cleaning kit and sharpened a metal rod. "This might work," he said, handing them to. She studied the tools for a moment. "It'll have to work. Hold his shoulder. When I push this in, he's going to react." "You want me to hold him down?" Minyu looked at the massive creature. Weighed at least 1,000 pounds. His shoulder alone was bigger than Minyu's entire body. "Just let him know you're there. Sometimes that helps." Minyu placed his hand on shoulder. The scales were warm, almost hot, like the creature had a fever. Maybe it did. Minyu did not know what a healthy war beast felt like. Nobody human did. Said gently, "This next part will be bad, but after this you'll breathe better, okay?" Opened one eye. He looked at the small human woman with the bloody hands and the kind voice. Then he looked at the young soldier touching his shoulder, the one who had wanted to kill him just hours ago. "Okay," rumbled. He closed his eye again. Pushed the sharpened rod between two scales, aiming for the chest cavity. His whole body went tight like a spring. A terrible sound came from his throat, not a roar but a howl, something ancient and full of agony. Minyu pressed down on the shoulder, not holding the creature down but just being there like had said. Purple blood and fluid burst from the new hole, worked fast, inserting the tube, letting the pressure escape. For a long moment nothing happened, then took a deep breath, a real breath. His chest rose and fell properly for the first time since they had found him. "Better?" asked. Made a sound that was almost like a laugh. "Better." The night continued, talked to the whole time, explaining everything she did. She had learned this trick years ago when she was treating frightened animals. They could not understand the words, but they understood the tone. Calm, steady, safe. But understood more than she expected. When she mentioned that his leg was broken in 3 places, he asked if he would walk again. When she discovered internal bleeding near his stomach, he asked if he would die before sunrise. "Not if I can help it," told him. Around midnight, Commander came to check on her. He stood at a distance, watching the strange scene. A human woman, covered in alien blood, working to save a creature that had killed hundreds of her kind. A young soldier, holding that creature's shoulder like it was a scared pet. "Will it survive?" asked. "His name is," said without looking up. "And yes, I think so, but he's rejecting some of my treatments. His immune system is fighting me." "Is that a problem?" "It's a big problem. The medicine that keeps human wounds from getting infected is hurting him. I need to try something else." Was quiet for a moment. "What else is there?" Finally looked at him. Her eyes were red from exhaustion. "I don't know. I'm figuring it out as I go. When I treated a Siberian tiger with an infection, standard antibiotics almost killed it. I had to use a different approach. Natural compounds. Things the animal's body could accept." "So you're treating this thing like a tiger?" "Like a tiger, a crocodile, and an elephant all at once." Almost smiled. "He's got the skin of a reptile, the organs of a mammal, and the size of an elephant. It's like someone combined every predator on Earth and added some things we've never seen." Looked at, the war beast was watching him with half-open eyes. There was no hatred in that gaze, just exhaustion, and something else. Curiosity, maybe. "It's looking at me," said. "He's been watching everything all night. He understands more than we thought." "That makes him more dangerous, not less." Went back to her work. "Or it makes him more reasonable. An animal kills because of instinct. An intelligent creature can choose not to kill. Had no response to that. He walked back to the perimeter without another word. By the time the first light appeared through the orange clouds, had done everything she could. Breathing was stable. His wounds were closed. His leg was set, wrapped in a splint made from ship wreckage. The 4 remaining pieces of shrapnel were still inside him, but they were in places where they would cause no more damage. His body would push them out over time or learn to live with them. Sat back and looked at her patient. Was asleep, truly asleep, not the unconscious state of the dying. His 4 eyes were closed. His massive chest rose and fell in a steady rhythm. Minyu sat beside her, equally exhausted. "You did it," he said. His voice was full of wonder. "You actually saved it, him. You saved him." "We saved him," corrected. "I couldn't have done it without your help." Before Minyu could respond, his voice came through the radio. It was tight with fear. "Commander, we've got a ship incoming. Markings, it's heading straight for us." Everyone grabbed their weapons. His voice was hard. "How many?" "Just one ship, small, looks like a scout." Stood up on tired legs. She looked at, still sleeping, unaware of what was coming. Then she looked at the orange sky where a small dark shape was growing larger. "It's coming for him," she said quietly. "Someone's coming to take him back." The ship landed at the edge of the crash site. Weapons were raised. Hearts were pounding. And then the door opened, and everything changed. The creature that stepped out of the ship was not what anyone expected. She was, yes, with the gray skin and 4 arms and the flat face of her species. But she was small for a barely taller than, and she was young, maybe the equivalent of 20 human years. Her large, dark eyes were wide with fear. Most importantly, she was alone, and she carried no weapons. "Don't shoot," she said. Her voice was soft and her words were in perfect human language. "Please, I am not here to fight." Commander kept his rifle aimed at her chest. "Who are you? Why are you here?" The woman looked past him, searching the crash site with desperate eyes. When she saw lying on the ground, her whole body went still. For a long moment she just stared. Then she made a sound that recognized immediately. It was grief. Pure, raw grief. The whispered, "Oh." She tried to run toward him, stepped in front of her, blocking her path. "I asked you a question." The woman stopped. Tears were falling from her dark eyes. Tears were silver like liquid metal. "My name is, I am his handler. We are bonded. I felt him dying. I came to find him." She looked at with something like hope. "Is he alive? Please tell me he is alive." "He's alive," said, stepping forward. "I've been treating him all night. He's stable now." Turned to look at. She saw the purple blood covering the human's clothes and hands. She saw the exhaustion in her eyes. She saw the medical tools scattered around sleeping body. "You," his voice broke, "you saved him." "I'm a doctor, it's what I do." His 4 arms wrapped around herself like she was trying to hold her body together. More silver tears fell. "Why would you help him? You are human. We are at war. He has killed your kind." Shrugged. "He was hurt. He needed help. That's all I needed to know." Something changed in his face. The fear did not disappear, but something else joined it. Confusion. And maybe, just maybe, the smallest spark of hope. Lowered his rifle slightly. "Not all the way, but enough." "This doesn't change anything," he said. "We're still enemies. Your empire is trying to destroy us." "My empire tried to destroy me," said quietly. "The crash was not an accident. They shot us down." Silence fell over the crash site. Even the jungle seemed to hold its breath. "What do you mean?" Minyu asked. Sat down on a piece of wreckage. She looked tired as felt. "My unit was stationed on a planet called 7. We were told to burn a human farming colony. Every man, woman, and child, no survivors." She paused. Her silver tears had stopped, but her voice was still shaking. "I refused. Some of the others refused too. We asked questions. We said this was wrong. The Empire does not like questions." "So they killed you," said. His voice was flat, but something in his eyes had changed. They tried. Our ship was shot by our own fleet. We crashed here, killed the soldiers who tried to kill me. She looked at the sleeping war beast with love in her eyes. He protected me. He always protects me. It is his purpose. What is this bond you talked about? Asked. She was a doctor. She needed to understand. Looked at her. When a war beast is born, it is connected to one handler. The bond is mental, emotional, physical. We feel each other's pain. We share each other's strength. If one of us dies, the other follows within months. It is our greatest weapon, she paused, and our greatest weakness. Understood now. This was not just an alien and her pet. This was something deeper. Two lives tied together from birth. If had died, would have died too. Commander put his rifle away. He walked in a slow circle, thinking. The squad watched him, waiting for orders. Finally, he stopped. We have a problem, he said. Our extraction point is 50 miles east. Our ship crashed 2 days ago. We've been walking through this jungle trying to reach the pickup zone before our window closes. We have 3 days left. What's the problem? Asked. The problem is that the path east goes through controlled territory. We've been trying to find a way around, but there isn't one. Not one we can walk in 3 days. Stood up slowly. I know these territories. I have maps, codes, safe routes that your people don't know about. She met's eyes. I can get you through. Why would you help us? Because you helped him, pointed at. And because I have nowhere else to go. My empire wants me dead. Your people will put me in prison, but maybe if I help you, you can help me. Help you how? His voice was steady now. The tears were gone. Let me take when we reach your extraction point. Let us disappear. We will not fight in this war anymore. We will find somewhere quiet, somewhere far from both our peoples. Just let us live. Looked at his squad. Minyu nodded slightly and looked uncertain but not opposed, was already smiling. If you betray us, said slowly, I will kill you both. If I betray you, replied, I deserve to die. The deal was made. No handshake, no formal agreement, just two enemies deciding to trust each other, at least for now. An hour later woke up. His 4 yellow eyes opened slowly, blinking against the morning light. He tried to move, and pain shot through his body. He remembered the crash. He remembered the humans arguing over whether to kill him. He remembered the woman with the kind voice and the bloody hands. Easy, that voice said now. Don't move too fast, you're still healing. Turned his massive head. Was sitting beside him, eating something from a small package, human food. It smelled strange. Said his voice was rough. Where is? I'm here, appeared at his side, dropping to her knees beside him. She pressed her forehead against his snout, a gesture of connection that was older than either of their civilizations. I'm here, old friend, I'm here. Made a rumbling sound deep in his chest. Relief, joy, love, all the emotions that war beasts were not supposed to feel, all the things the Empire said did not exist in their created weapons. The humans said slowly, they saved me. One human saved you, the small one with the short hair, she is called. His yellow eyes found again. She waved at him with a small smile. Hey, big guy, how are you feeling? Alive said, confused, alive. Yeah, that sounds about right, stood up and brushed dirt from her pants. We're going to be traveling together for a few days. You need to rest as much as possible. Let your body heal. Can you walk? Tried to stand. His broken leg screamed in protest, but the splint held. His muscles were weak from blood loss. His chest ached with every breath, but he could stand. Barely. I can walk, he said. Looked at, he's going to need help, and he shouldn't fight, not for at least a week. Nodded, I will support him, and knows how to be careful, don't you? The war beast made a sound that might have been agreement, or annoyance. It was hard to tell. Commander gathered the squad. We move in 10 minutes, takes point. I'm right behind her. Anyone sees anything wrong, report immediately. He looked at each of them in turn. "We're trusting an enemy today. I don't like it, but it's our best chance. Let's not waste it." They moved out into the jungle, a strange group walking together. 5 humans, and one war beast who could barely stand. Nobody knew if they would survive the next 3 days. But for the first time since the crash, they had hope. The jungle of 4 was trying to kill them every step of the way. The ground was soft and pulled at their boots like hungry mouths. The air was so thick with moisture that breathing felt like drinking. Strange creatures watched from the shadows, things with too many eyes and too many legs, waiting for someone to fall behind. But knew the way. She moved through the jungle like water flows through a stream, natural and easy. She knew which plants were dangerous. She knew which areas had patrols. She knew secret paths that even the Empire's maps did not show. "How do you know all this?" Minyu asked on the second day. He was walking beside her, his rifle ready but relaxed. Something had changed in him since the crash site. The fear was still there, but it was quieter now. "Before the war, I was a scout," explained. "I mapped wild planets for the Empire. I spent years alone in jungles like this one with only for company." She smiled slightly. It was a sad smile. "Those were good years, simple years. Then the war came and they turned us into weapons. Us, handlers and war beasts. We were supposed to be explorers, protectors, not killers." Looked back at who was walking slowly behind them with at his side. "They changed us, made us do terrible things, but they could not change what we are inside." Minyu thought about this for a long time. Then he said, "I joined the army because they killed my village. Soldiers. They came from the sky and burned everything. I was 15. I hid in a well and listened to everyone I loved die." Stopped walking. She turned to look at him with her large, dark eyes. "I am sorry," she said. "I did not do this thing, but my people did. I am sorry." "I know you didn't do it, I just—" Minyu struggled with his words. "I thought I would hate until I died. I thought hatred was all I had left, but you're not what I expected." "Neither are you," said. "I was taught that humans are animals, violent, stupid, unable to feel real emotions, but you stayed with during his surgery. You touched him when he was in pain. That is not what an animal does." They started walking again. The jungle continued its attempts to kill them, but something between them had changed. The wall between enemies had cracked just a little. Behind them, walked beside, the war beast was struggling. Every step cost him effort. His broken leg dragged slightly despite the splint. His breath came in short, painful gasps, but he kept moving. "You're pushing too hard," told him. "We can rest." "No rest," rumbled. "Must keep moving, protect." "Is fine. She's got 5 soldiers with guns and a very stubborn medic protecting her. You can take a break." Made his laughing sound. "Stubborn, yes, you are stubborn, small human." "I've been called worse," patted his side gently, feeling the warm scales under her hand. "And I'm not small, you're just ridiculously big." "Big is good, big means strong. Right now, big just means more body for me to fix when you hurt yourself again." They walked in comfortable silence for a while, then spoke again, his voice softer than before. "Why did you save me?" Had been expecting this question. She had been asking herself the same thing since that first moment at the crash site. "Because I could," she said finally. "Because you were hurt and I had the skills to help. Because I've spent my whole life fixing broken things and you were very, very broken. Other humans would have killed me. Probably, but I'm not other humans." Turned his massive head to look at her. His 4 yellow eyes studied her face with an intelligence that still surprised her. "You are different, special. Says humans do not feel the bond, but I feel something with you, like the bond but not the same, a connection." Smiled. "Where I come from we call that trust. It takes time to build, it's precious when you have it." "Trust," repeated the word like he was tasting it. "I like this word." On the 3rd day, everything went wrong. They were passing through a narrow valley whence voice crackled over the radio. "Movement ahead, Patrol, 10 soldiers. Everyone stopped. Commander moved forward silently to see for himself. When he came back, his face was grim. They're blocking the path. No way around. We wait for them to leave or we fight. We cannot fight, said quickly. These are loyalists, true believers in the Empire. If they see me alive, they will call for reinforcements. Hundreds of soldiers. We would never escape. Then we wait. But they could not wait. As they hid in the thick jungle, one of the soldiers found their trail. He shouted to the others. Weapons were raised. The patrol started moving toward them. Positions ordered. We have no choice. The firefight was brutal and fast. Human rifles cracked against energy weapons. The jungle lit up with fire and light. Took a shot to the arm. Dragged him behind cover. Minyu and pushed forward, fighting like they had nothing to lose. Fought too. She had picked up a fallen weapon and used it with deadly skill. But there were too many enemies. They were being pushed back. Stayed with, keeping him hidden behind a massive tree. Stay down, she told him. You're in no condition to fight. Must help, growled. Must protect. You'll die if you fight. Your body can't take the stress. But then a soldier found them. He came around the tree with his weapon raised, ready to fire. Reached for her pistol, but she was too slow. The soldier was going to kill her. Moved faster than anything that broken should be able to move. His massive body slammed into the soldier, crushing him against the tree. His claws found flesh. The soldier screamed once, then went silent. Another soldier appeared, killed him too, then another. Stop, shouted. But the war beast was lost in battle now. His instincts had taken over. He was doing what he had been created to do. By the time the last enemy fell, had killed 3 soldiers, but the cost was terrible. His wounds had reopened. Purple blood poured from his side. His broken leg had bent further, the splint shattered. He collapsed to the ground, breathing in short, agonizing gasps. No, 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 dropped beside him, her hands pressing against his wounds. You idiot, you stupid, brave idiot, I just put you back together. Looked at her with his yellow eyes. He was smiling. At least it looked like a smile. Protected you, he said. Good, worth it. Ran to them, crying silver tears again. She pressed her forehead to his. You foolish creature, you wonderful, foolish creature. Commander appeared, breathing hard. Is he alive? Barely, said. She was already working, trying to stop the bleeding. Help me. I need bandages, pressure, anything. The squad gathered around. Minyu held pressure on one wound. Injured himself, held another. Even helped, his stone face showing something that might have been concern. They worked together, humans, and to save the creature that had just saved them. Once breathing finally stabilized, sat back, covered in purple blood for the second time. He'll live, she said, but he can't do that again. His body has nothing left. Made his laughing sound. It was weak, but it was there. No promises, he said. You are worth protecting. Shook her head, but she was smiling. They had one more day to reach the extraction point. One more day of jungle. One more day of uncertainty. But they were still alive, and they were still together. That would have to be enough. The extraction point was a small clearing on the edge of a cliff. Below, a river of green water crashed through rocks and steam. Above, the orange clouds of 4 were starting to break apart, showing hints of the dark space beyond. It was almost beautiful if you ignored the blood, the exhaustion, and the smell of death that still clung to everyone. They had made it. Somehow, against all odds, they had made it. Commander checked his radio. Extraction team, this is Ground Unit 7. We have reached the pickup zone, ready for transport. The radio crackled. Ground Unit 7, this is Carrier, we read you. Transport will arrive in 30 minutes. Prepare for boarding. Lowered the radio. He should have felt relief. The mission was almost over. They were going home. But something in his chest felt wrong. He looked at and sitting together at the edge of the clearing. The war beast was barely conscious. The handler was stroking his scaled head, whispering words in their native language. They had kept their deal, had guided them through impossible terrain, had saved life. They had done everything they promised. Now it was turn to keep his promise. The radio crackled again. Ground Unit 7, this is Carrier. We have received updated orders from High Command. Priority Alpha. Blood went cold. Priority Alpha meant direct orders from the top, orders that could not be questioned. Go ahead. Intelligence has detected the presence of an enemy war beast at your location. You are ordered to sedate and secure the creature for transport. Research Division wants it alive for study. This is not optional. Silence fell over the clearing. Everyone had heard the transmission. Minyu's face went pale and exchanged worried looks, stood up slowly, her hands clenched at her sides. Had heard too. She stood in front of her, 4 arms spread wide, as if her small body could protect the massive creature behind her. No, she said, you promised. Did not respond. He was staring at the radio like it was a snake about to bite him. Commander's voice was hard. What are you going to do? I have orders. You have a choice. Turned to look at her. His stone face was cracking. She could see the war inside him, the battle between duty and honor. If I disobey, they will court-martial me. Prison, maybe execution. My career is over. And if you obey? Looked at, the war beast was watching him with half-open eyes. He was too weak to fight, too weak to run. If wanted to take him, there was nothing anyone could do to stop it. If I obey, said slowly, they will cut him open, study his organs, clone his DNA, make more weapons. He paused. And when they are done, they will kill him, and will die too because of the bond. Yes, said, that is what will happen. You are asking me to commit treason. I am asking you to be human. The words hung in the air. Everyone was watching. Everyone was waiting. The future of 5 people depended on what Commander decided in the next few seconds. Minyu stepped forward. Commander, I'll back whatever you decide, but I want you to know something. He looked at him. 3 days ago I wanted to kill him. I thought he was a monster. I thought all were monsters, but I was wrong. They're just people, different from us but still people. If we give them to the research division, we become the monsters. Nodded. The kid's right. I've done a lot of things in this war that I'm not proud of, following orders that felt wrong, telling myself it was necessary, but this, he shook his head, this is where I draw the line. Said nothing, but when looked at him he gave a small nod, agreement, support. Turned to, she was still standing with her hands clenched, ready to fight if she had to, ready to die if she had to, all to protect a creature she had met 3 days ago. You really think this matters? Asked. 1 war beast, 1 handler, will saving them change anything? Smiled. It was a sad smile, but there was something fierce in it. I don't know if it will change the war, but it will change us. We can win this war by becoming monsters, or we can end it by being human. That's the choice. That's always the choice. Commander closed his eyes. He thought about his brother, killed in an attack. He thought about his best friend, burned alive by a war beast just like. He thought about all the anger and hatred that had kept him alive through years of fighting. Then he thought about crying silver tears over her dying friend. He thought about dragging his broken body into battle to protect a human he barely knew. He thought about the way had smiled when she said, I've fixed bigger cats. He made his decision. Ground Unit 7 to Carrier. The war beast died from injuries sustained before we arrived. The handler escaped into the jungle during an attack. We were unable to pursue. A long pause from the radio. Then, confirmed Ground Unit 7, understood, transport arriving in 20 minutes. Lowered the radio. He looked at who was staring at him with shock and hope in her dark eyes. You have 20 minutes to disappear. Take the eastern path down the cliff. There's a cave system near the river. Hide there until we're gone. Started to speak, stopped, started again. Why? Because someone once told me that mercy isn't against orders, almost smiled. It looked strange on his stone face. Now go, before I change my mind. Turn 2. The war beast was trying to stand, but he could not do it alone. She helped him up, using all 4 arms to support his massive body. They started moving toward the edge of the clearing. But stopped. He turned his huge head and looked at. Come, he said. Walked to him. She was trying not to cry, but her eyes were wet. Lowered his head until they were at the same level. His 4 yellow eyes met her 2 brown ones. You saved me, he said. I will never forget. Wherever I go, whatever I do, I will remember the small human who fixed the broken cat. Laughed through her tears. You're not a cat. You said you fixed bigger cats, so I am a cat, a very big cat. She reached up and touched his face, feeling the warm scales under her fingers. Take care of yourself, big guy. Don't get into any more fights. No promises, rumbled, but he was smiling again. Touched his shoulder with one of her hands. Thank you for everything. If our peoples ever find peace, it will be because of humans like you. Then they were gone, disappearing into the jungle like shadows. A few minutes later, there was no sign they had ever been there. The transport ship arrived exactly on time. The squad boarded in silence. Nobody talked about what had happened. Nobody mentioned as far as the official report was concerned, they had never existed. But as the ship lifted into the orange sky, Commander looked out the window at the jungle below. Somewhere down there, 2 refugees were starting a new life. An alien and her war beast, freed from a war that should never have started. He did not smile. Smiling was not in his nature, but something in his chest felt lighter than it had in years. Across the galaxy, rumors began to spread. Stories about a human medic who healed instead of killed. Stories about a war beast who refused to fight humans. The soldiers called it propaganda. The generals called it nonsense. But those who were there knew the truth. Sometimes the greatest weapon is not the biggest gun or the sharpest claw. Sometimes the greatest weapon is kindness. And sometimes the bravest thing a soldier can do is choose not to fight. In a war of monsters, had chosen to be human. And in doing so, she had changed everything.